So it is a gauge app. Hi, it's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle. I make videos about books. Please hit the subscribe button. It really helps my channel grow. So Midnights has been out for a couple of days now. When you were seeing this, it's been over a week. I'm not filming it that far in advance, but I have been listening to it nonstop, and this is the first time I'm doing a video like this where I am recommending books based off of songs, and I'm doing this for the first time now because this is very difficult and it's taken me a long time to figure out which book I feel like really goes with which song, especially because I have just this year really gotten into adult romance books, and I feel even though Midnights is darker than her other albums, it's all about love, even if that love doesn't work out. So I wanted this to really correspond. This is going to be mostly adult romance with a few surprises because some songs are not about romance. So I have seen a couple other people do this, and I will put their videos down below, mostly because we all have like different interpretations of the song and which books we have chosen, and I just think that is really fascinating. So I would like you to check out their videos as well. So I'm going to go through each song on the regular edition, not the deluxe version, and that is just because my brain could not figure out like 7 more songs. that is it. I will also be pulling a lyric from each song that I just really like and I think corresponds with the book. So let's go. The first song is Lavender Haze, and the lyric that I have chosen is the 1950 shit they want from me, I just want to stay in that lavender haze. And for this song I have chosen The Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa. This follows a woman who literally crashes this stranger's wedding because she finds out that the bride-to-be is cheating on him, and then she, the wedding crasher, finds out that this is a marriage of convenience, and she's like, dude. So the main character and the love interest start fake dating, and it turns into real love at the end, and there is a happily ever after in this one. And I just felt like this really corresponded with me with Lavender Haze because they really start falling in love, and like all they can think about is each other, and they only want to be with each other, even though this whole situation started as fake dating. It was fake dating to like real friendship to real love, and this just reminded me of Lavender Haze because soon they can't like actually stop thinking about each other, and they only want to spend time with each other, and I just found this so romantic. Also, this is one of the funniest books I have read this year. There is one scene in particular that I will never forget about, and that is at a party, and I just really need you to read this so we can talk about this together because it is one of the best scenes I have read in a book this year. So for Lavender Haze, I have chosen The Wedding Crasher. The next song is Maroon. In my opinion, I believe that this song is about Harry Styles, so of course I chose a book that has to do with Harry Styles. I had another book chosen for this, and then I was listening to the song again and I changed my answer. But the lyric that I have for this one is, and I wake with your memory over me, that's a real fucking legacy to leave. And the book that I have chosen for this one is The Idea of You by Robin Lee. This is currently being made into a movie with Anne Hathaway, who I think is one of the most gorgeous women to exist. So I'm very excited to watch this. This is a story about Solène, I think. It's very French and I don't know how to say that, but Solène meets this band member that her daughter loves, and the band member is very reminiscent of Harry Styles. And I was very weary about going into this one because of what After did to Harry Styles' like image. It is bad, but I feel like this is a good comparison to the Harry Styles that the fans know. Anyway, so the age gap romance, and I did not think that I was into that, but apparently I am, and I believe that this corresponds with Maroon because unlike a lot of romances that I have read, the ending might surprise you, and I know that the ending is pretty controversial, but I love the ending of this one and thought it was realistic, just like I think Maroon is a realistic relationship end. So for Maroon, I have chosen The Idea of You. The next song is Antihero, and for this one I had another book until I came down here and saw this one on my shelves. But the lyric I have for this one is, I have this thing where I get older but just never wiser. And I feel like that's all of us, right? Like, if anything, I'm just getting dumber, but that's fine. The book that I have for this one is a YA book, getting back to my roots. And that is If I'm Being Honest by Emily Wimberly and Austin Siegmund Broca. This is a couple who write together, and I think that most of their books are really good. And If I'm Being Honest is about a popular mean girl in high school who really likes this guy, but he is not impressed that she is quite frankly a bitch. So she, in my opinion, is the anti-hero of this book. You are really rooting for her to change. She decides that she wants to change her ways to get with this dude, and she goes through all these transformations and learns a lot about herself. And I just feel like she is the anti-hero, and you're really rooting for her, and you're like, but why? She is such a bitch. And you know what? Sometimes I am such a bitch, and I am always rooting for me. So for anti-hero, I have chosen If I'm Being Honest. The next song is Snow on the Beach featuring Lana Del Rey, and the lyric that I have chosen is, I've never seen someone lit from within, blurring out my periphery. And this one was so easy for me to figure out, and that is Yerba Buena by Nina LaCour. My review on this on Goodreads is, I don't understand how something can be so sad and so beautiful and uplifting at the same time. And that's how I feel about Snow on the Beach. I will be quite honest with you and say that Snow on the Beach is my least favorite song on the album, but Yerba Buena is one of my favorite books ever. And that's just like, I don't understand how that works, but I feel like Yerba Buena really works with Snow on the Beach. Yerba Buena is a story about two women who keep running into each other. They know that they like each other, they know that this could turn into something more serious, but they're both on very different life paths, and they're trying to figure out how to make it work when their situations feel like they can never make it work. So I absolutely love this one, and I think it fits Snow on the Beach so perfectly. As soon as I heard and was like really grasping the lyrics of Snow on the Beach, I knew that I would immediately pick Yerba Buena. I feel like this was such a quiet release this year, and I cannot even tell you how beautiful this book was. I read it physically in like less than a day. That's how enthralled with it I was. So for Snow on the Beach, I have chosen Yerba Buena. The next song from Midnights is You're on Your Own Kid, and this is probably one of my favorite songs from Midnights. It's her track 5, which is always one of my favorites from all of her albums. And the lyric that I have chosen is, you're on your own, kid, yeah, you can face this, you're on your own, kid, you always have been, which is the very last lyrics of the song. And for this one, I have chosen another YA book, and that is Everything Beautiful Is Not Ruined by Danielle Young Ullman. I read this a while ago for the Alphabet Project E and gave it 5 stars and have kept it. I have recently been unhauling a lot, but this is something I want to hold on to. This is a story about a girl who is sent to like a camp where they like basically bully you into stop being an awful kid, basically, and she is sent away, and you are going back in time and you are learning why she was sent away to this camp. And it is just, it's a lot. This is a very heavy YA book, which at the time I was reading YA were my favorite. I loved heavy, really impactful YA, and this is like the atonement of that. Without giving much away, this is a story about a girl and her mother, and it is very good. If you are looking for something that's going to give you the punch like You're on Your Own, Kid did for me, at least, Everything Beautiful Is Not Ruined is going to hit you in the feels, just like that song does. The next song is Midnight Rain, and here is my favorite lyrics from this one. He was sunshine, I was midnight rain. He was comfortable, I wanted that pain. He wanted a bride, I was making my own name, chasing that fame. He stayed the same, all of me changed like midnight rain. So I had chosen this book and realized that rain and the book title go together so perfectly, and I promise you that I did not plan this out. You can believe me or not, but this is Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This starts out with the character being engaged to someone else, and they break off the engagement, and it's actually like the opposite. So Taylor is writing about how she felt like she was being pushed in this relationship to be something she wasn't, and that was to like get married and settle down, and she didn't want to do that. So actually the guy that she was engaged to broke off the thing because he didn't really want that anymore, and the main character is trying to find her way, whether that be with another relationship or just on her own. So even though I feel like this main character may be Taylor Swift's love interest from the song, I feel like this still fits it really well because you're looking at it from the other person's perspective. So like, what do you do after this relationship that you thought was going to go somewhere ends? And I really like Weather Girl. It does deal a lot with mental illness, which I really appreciate in books. I feel like we should talk about mental illness in books in real life way more than we do. So I absolutely love this one. So for Midnight Rain, I have chosen Weather Girl. The next song is Question, and I don't own this book anymore, but as soon as I was listening to this song, I immediately thought of this book. But the lyrics that I'm going to say are the lyrics that I really resonated with is, does it feel like everything's just like a second best after that meteor strike? And what's that I heard that you're still with her? That's nice. I'm sure that's what's suitable. So for this song, I have chosen Fool Me Once by Ashley Winstead. This is a story all about cheating, which I believe Question is all about. The person that Taylor was with was cheating, and she's asking them all of these questions and being like, oh, so that's how you feel. Okay, it's just a question. And Fool Me Once is controversial because I know a lot of people don't like to read about cheating, and this book is all about cheating. The main character thought that something was happening with the guy that she was with, so she cheats on him. And she has basically regretted it until like forever, basically. She's always regretted it. And then they work together on this shared project, and she has realized her mistake and always has, and is basically like, should I try to get back with him? Will it even matter? Does he forgive me? Can we do all of this? So for Question, I think you should read Fool Me Once. The next one is Vigilante Shit. And this is the only one that I don't really have a romance for. I have a very dark thriller for you. And I will say there are trigger warnings for this book, and I will read them to you. But if you like vigilante shit, you're dark and you want revenge. And so does the person in this book. But first, let me tell you the lyric that I like, which makes me the biggest millennial there's ever to exist. And that's because when I first heard this first line, I thought it was the coolest shit I've ever heard in my life. And apparently, according to TikTok, I'm old, but that's fine. And the lyric is, draw the cat eye sharp enough to kill a man. You did some bad things, but I'm the worst of them. So for vigilante shit, I have The Last Housewife, once again, by Ashley Winstead. Ashley Winstead has range. She can write a fucking dark thriller, and also one of the funniest romances I have read this year. I don't know how she does it, but this does come with trigger warnings. Like I said, it is in the book before you even get to it, and I would like to read them for you. So content warning: suicide, rape, physical violence, sexual violence, trauma, self-harm, misogyny, gender essentialism, and drug use. But I chose this one for vigilante shit because Taylor is singing about getting revenge on someone. I believe I know who she is getting revenge on in the song. It is up for interpretation. But in The Last Housewife, the main character is faced with this realization that her best friend in college may have committed suicide, but she is taking it upon herself to investigate this, and basically she wants to find out what the fuck is going on. Did her friend really commit suicide, or was something more sinister happening? So I believe that if you like vigilante shit, you will also like The Last Housewife. Be careful about the trigger warnings. Also, the audiobook for this one was really excellent. The next song is Bejeweled, which I absolutely love. It is such a jam. This book has not come out yet. I believe it comes out in November, so I think so very soon. I read an arc of it and I immediately thought of this book. But first, the lyric, and that is, I made you my world, have you heard? I can reclaim the land and I miss you, but I miss sparkling. So the book that I have chosen for this is Astra Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. Astra Parker is, in my opinion, a bitch. But you know what? I really like her. At the end of Delilah Green Doesn't Care, we see Astra Parker dumping her stupid ass fiance. And that is why I feel like it hits Bejeweled, because I miss you, but I miss sparkling, and that is Astra Parker. And Astra Parker Doesn't Fail, she finds herself coming out not very late. She's in her 30s. That's not late. I'm in my 30s. Later in life, and starts a relationship with Jordan, who is a lesbian. And I just think this fits Bejeweled really well. I absolutely love the song. If you can get a copy of it, it does come out in November, and so I think Bejeweled matches Astra Parker Doesn't Fail. The next one is Labyrinth, which is one of my favorites on the album. I absolutely adore this song. I feel like it's gonna not get the treatment it deserves, but I will stand up for the song. And the lyric that I have with it is, you would break your back to make me break a smile. You know how much I hate that everyone just expects me to bounce back just like that. And for Labyrinth, I have If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy. I feel like Labyrinth is such a soft song. Like, she is really putting her heart out there. That is like, falling in love is fucking scary. Like, what do you do? What if something happens? What if they change their mind? What if anything can happen when you fall in love? And so for this one, I have If the Shoe Fits. This is a very clean adult romance, meaning it is a closed door romance, but I absolutely love this one. It was so touching. It follows a plus size main character as she embarks on this like bachelorette type show, and she starts falling for some of these men. And I just absolutely love this one. It's one that's stayed with me, and it reminds me of Labyrinth because she's really putting herself out there, and it's fucking scary. So if you like Labyrinth, I suggest If the Shoe Fits. The next one is Karma, which is absolutely a fucking jam. Karma is a cat? Yes, it is. This is the hardest one. This one, I went back and forth between books. I listened to this song 10 times in a row before I could pick a book, and I still don't even know if this is the correct book, but that's fine. Here is the lyric. Cause karma is the thunder rattling your ground. Karma's on your scent like a bounty hunter. Karma's gonna track you down. Step by step from town to town, sweet like justice. Karma is a queen. I chose this book because Karma is a queen, and also Delilah Green is a queen. I talked about this a little bit with Astra Parker. They are like, you can read one without the other, but the characters show up in all of these. Delilah Green Doesn't Care is the first book in the series, and Delilah and her Karma are queen. If you like Karma, you like badass women, and Delilah Green is a badass woman. This is sapphic. Astra Parker is sapphic. They're all sapphic. If you are sapphic, please read Delilah Green Doesn't Care. If you like Karma, I believe that you will like Delilah Green Doesn't Care. The next one is Sweet Nothing. Taylor wrote this with Joe, and I just think it is one of the softest song on the album. This is all about love. This is all about their relationship. I absolutely love this one. The book that came to mind for me immediately is one of my favorites that I've ever read, and is the one that got me back into adult romance. But first, the lyric. Outside they're pushing, shoving, you're in the kitchen humming, all that you've ever wanted from me was sweet nothing. And for this one, I have chosen The Love Hypothesis by Allie Hazelwood. Now this starts off with the two main characters meeting and you don't really know it. Like, I feel like it's obvious, but then it comes back around at the end. And it is just so soft. This is also fake dating, which is one of my favorite tropes, and I absolutely love this one. And this one just gave me the warm fuzzies. I completely credit The Love Hypothesis for getting me back into adult romance. I was sneering at it. I was like, this is so stupid and predictable. Who cares? What did I didn't like joy? Stupid. The Love Hypothesis is pure joy. Sweet Nothing, the song, is pure joy. They love each other. They love each other. If you like Sweet Nothing, I think that you should read The Love Hypothesis. Last but not least, because Mastermind is my favorite song on the album, and I had a really hard time with this because a lot of romance novels is a lot of miscommunication. But this book that I read pretty recently, I just like feel like fits the song in a lot of different ways. But first, the lyric. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Strategy sets the scene for the tale. I'm the wind in our free-flowing sails and the liquor in our cocktails. My favorite thing about Mastermind is that Taylor is telling everyone and Joe that she like fucking knew that they were gonna be together and nothing was gonna stop her. Good for her. So for this book, I have Yes and I Love You by Ronnie Lauren. This is another fake dating, friends to lovers kind of thing. And I just feel like this hits Mastermind so well because like, I feel like in the back of these main characters' heads, they knew that they belonged together. It was just like, they had to get there. They both had to realize that they were gonna end up together and that they were perfect for each other and nothing was going to stop them. So if you are a baddie and also love Mastermind, I think that you will also love Yes and I Love You. That's it. This, honestly, it took me so long. I've never done one of these and I understand why it's a lot of pressure. But I think that all of these books hit these songs so well. And I hope that you are enjoying Midnights as much as I am. I'm freaking Midnight one of her favorite my favorite album? Could it be? I don't know. Anyway, all I have to say is Karma is a queen, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!